welcome back to the Polishing Podcast. My name is Nico, otherwise known as Nico Powerful. I'm the host of the Polishing Podcast. My co-host.
It's me.
Mm-hmm.
It's Allie.
Yeah.
Otherwise known as Allie.
Yeah, you don't have another name, really.
Yeah, I really don't. Allie Mac. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, but...
That's my name. Don't wear it out.
I was just going to stay quiet for a second to see how long the silence would last.
No, that's terrible. Nobody wants to hear that on a podcast. What kind of content creator are you?
The one that likes to fuck with people just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
So I have to open the cider, but I saved it so
Oh.
that I could do the thing where you hear it on the mic. Hold on.
Be careful.
I got it.
Nice.
Oh, that was a good one. Oh. Yeah.
She's out here. Are we on the same level? I can't tell.
We'll find
Well,
out.
look at the knobs. Do the knobs look accurate?
I guess.
Are they the same?
I think so. Yeah, they look the same.
Yeah, that looks right. Okay. I'm leaving that in.
Okay.
Yeah, just so everyone knows.
You should do whatever you want to do.
I'm doing whatever I want to do.
Okay.
But this is the Polishing Podcast. And you can find this podcast wherever you find podcasts except for SoundCloud, because I don't want to deal with that process, because I looked into it. If you don't start there, it's kind of an annoying thing, because if you don't pay for any kind, I don't think, is there even a thing where you can pay for SoundCloud?
I have no idea.
All I know is I remember looking into it, but they cap out how much you can upload onto SoundCloud in a week or a month. I don't know. So it was just not going to be a fun experience to like upload sections of the podcast, or not sections of the podcast, but sections of episodes, and be like, oh, no, I gotta wait till next Tuesday or something. But yeah, so Spotify and iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Podbean. Is there anything else? YouTube, because that's one that I keep forgetting about, because it's just auto uploaded there. I connected the accounts and then kind of went, man, just let it fuck off, honestly.
Well,
and patreon.com/the Polishing Podcast.
And the Patreon is where to be.
Yeah, 'cause you get to watch the podcast.
You get to watch our silly faces.
You can see my dead eyes.
Dead eyes. It's like dead ass, but sadder.
Dead eye. It's like, yeah, dude, my grandma died. Dead eyes.
Damn. Literally dead eyes.
Well,
R.I.P. Grandma.
pour one out for grandma. Don't pour one out.
I'm going to pour one out into my mouth.
Okay, that's fine.
Cheers.
What was I going to say?
It's a very good question.
I think we're going to have to do this. I keep losing concentration because of my head.
That's why I think we should maybe wait until tomorrow, but here we are.
I can just, if you know, it'd be funny to keep this intro and then come back and have to just dressed completely different.
Don't address it.
It's too late. We addressed it.
No, like this part, and then we just cut to the new content. I mean, if we wait until tomorrow, I'll look nice. Today I've had a very long day. I worked, had meetings, and I taught. And then I came home and ate the most Indian food I think I've ever eaten in one sitting.
Maybe.
It was a lot of Indian food. It was real good. It was a lot of Indian food.
That makes sense.
And
a lot of tofu.
Yeah. Oh, fucking tofu is so good. I really fuck with tofu. If it's prepared properly, it's one of my favorite proteins.
I don't know that I've ever had it really prepared properly then, because I don't think I've ever been about it.
I mean, you just can't expect it to taste like meat, because it's not even a little bit meat.
It's not meat.
I feel like a lot of people think it's gonna be meat.
It's gonna
and then they
be
eat
meat.
it, and it's like not at all the same texture or flavor. And that's, I mean, if you're expecting like beef and you bite into tofu, that's a rude awakening for your mouth. That is not the same.
What if it smelled like beef?
Or even chicken. I smell like beef.
You missed it. I said beef. I went, it's gonna be meat.
It's gonna be made.
I mean, I guess it's more of a stretch, but yeah.
I'm here for stretches.
I don't know if that's true.
No, I'm just saying shit.
That's fair.
So I think we should wait until your head doesn't hurt. That was my theory.
Well, we're already going. You can't stop a train once it starts.
I need you people.
There are no brakes on a train.
There literally are brakes on a train. Otherwise, the trains would never stop. This isn't Snowpiercer.
Did that train have no brakes?
They couldn't stop. That's what they said. In order to stop it, they had to like blow some shit up, and Chris Evans got his arm chopped off. So, spoilers.
More spoilers. Everyone dies.
No, not everyone.
I mean, I get that the insinuation at the end of that movie, actual spoilers, is that life has started to come back in some way, shape, or form because they thought everything outside of the train died. But, like, how is that lady and that kid going to survive?
I don't know.
I think humanity's gone. Like, I think the
and
Earth
honestly, the real moral of that story is that humanity probably doesn't deserve to survive.
Yeah, probably
but that's fine. You should watch that movie, but also, if you want to feel joy, that's not the film.
Yeah.
For you, it's really
depressing.
sad.
If you want to eat a big old bowl of Depressios while you watch a movie.
Yeah. I mean, God, if you're feeling too good about the fate of mankind, just watch that film. It'll humble your ass. Just almost immediately, almost from the beginning, it will humble you. But by the end, you'll just be weeping and wishing that you had made a different decision. So
it does give you the whole spiel about how what was I going to say? Oh, fudge. Oh, like instead of dealing with the climate change issue, we just developed something to try to control the weather, and then it went haywire and it just made it eternal winter.
Yep. Which honestly is
sounds like
more and more possible. Fucking Elon Musk is going to be out here like, what if we just put this bomb in the sky? It'll be special. But he doesn't actually build things that like work. So
I don't know.
I mean, remember that time he built that submarine that they couldn't use to save those kids? And then he started saying that the guy that saved them was a pedophile?
I mean, yeah, I remember that.
That was a really weird time. It was a very strange time. You look ill.
It's weird. My head started to hurt more. And then
when you started to strain yourself, your head started to hurt more?
Look, I don't need this. That's it. I'm done.
Listen, all you motherfuckers.
I'm going to walk
sick
out.
Sick as hell. Still trying to do shit.
Hey, I don't have the mumps.
That's true.
We're not going to name names, but they know who they are.
We don't know for sure.
What else could it even be?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor. These are not things that I'm qualified to say.
Not a doctor.
Not a doctor.
What's that the end of?
I don't know.
It's to one of the shows you watch.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah.
And then it's like, brr, brr, brr.
Yeah. Nice one.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I'm musically inclined. Yeah, I am right.
Yeah.
Could you say it one more time?
I don't know. Like, that's something I don't recorded. Say. You're right.
Thank you.
Like, that's not something I've said before or have said multiple times before.
You say it. My, like, Capricorn rising ass needs to hear.
I like how Nem can go anywhere. She's still right there.
She's so cute. Look at this little nugget.
Oh, no, wrong way.
Other way. Oh, that's some good content. Nem! Hello, Baba. Hello, Baba.
What? Damn it, she's sniffing.
Oh.
Caught her sniffing.
Came through sniffing. Sniff, sniff. Came through sniffing. Sniff, sniff.
You're ridiculous.
Nem would write a really good Cardi B song, so... Okay, right. Well, this was a valiant effort, but you're looking worse by the second. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
You look terrible, and I have no idea how this is going to go, except that I do know you're going to get grumpy, and then you're not going to want to do this anymore.
I just don't think I'm going to have a lot to contribute. I think I'm trying to concentrate.
I were going to do my own podcast, I would just do it, and I wouldn't need you sitting here with a headache.
It's fair.
Okay. I love you.
I love you too. Mm-hmm. I want that recorded.
I love you.
Oh my god.
At least have some content.
Yeah. So we don't know what we were. So I was dead, basically.
He was dead. Like his eyes.
I had dead eyes.
Dead. They were dead fish eyes, like at the fish market. You were dead.
I had glass eyes without any of the coolness of being able to take them out of my head.
Yeah, if I had a glass eye, I would fuck with people all the time.
Would you run into walls and be like, oh my God, my eye popped out?
I mean, I would definitely end up putting my eye in people's food.
Oh, gross.
Yeah.
You got to put it back in your head, though.
I mean, you wash it, obviously.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Obviously.
That's something about
You
it.
wash it.
What do you... Oh, she's underneath the blanket.
Our cats really love the radiators, but Nem has a particular relationship with them in that she likes to get underneath the blankets
I mean,
by the radiator.
I've seen Callie get under there, too.
That's true, but Nem is like, she'll do it every day.
Well, this one's the easiest to get under because there's so much blanket and it's a smaller radiator.
That's true.
But,
But yeah, so you are no longer dead-eyed,
no, at least I don't feel like it.
which is good. Very good.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it was a mix of a migraine and sinus problems because I literally fell asleep for like an hour and woke up and my head felt better. And then I just slept more because
Yeah,
I felt like I needed to sleep more.
because sleep is awesome.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Sleep
I'll
is
sleep
incredible.
when I'm sleeping. I'm going to say when I'm dead, but that's not true. I sleep
Oh,
all the time.
Yeah, you like to sleep. You go to bed and you sleep like a log.
I try to go to bed. Sometimes you're like, no.
I mean, sometimes I'm like, no, you're grown up. You can go to bed whenever you want.
Right.
Do you hear what I have to deal with?
Because we don't go to bed with each other because we like to share each other's warmth.
I mean, we usually
And
do,
love
but
each
like
other.
that's not like a rule. It's like a preference. So, like last night, I was up watching Floribama Shore, which I would love to talk about
Why?
because Floribama Shore is art.
Well, if Marvel movies aren't art, then that for sure shit ain't art.
Well, that's only if you listen to people like Martin Scorsese. And I will tell you,
Scorsese?
Scorsese, that's what I said.
You said Cz.
Oh.
Martin Scorsese's Pizza.
He should open up a restaurant called that, but just serve
We're in
only
trouble.
pretentious pizza.
No, I want it to be like a CC's Pizza that he just buys out. He buys out CC's Pizza and calls it Martin Scorsese's Pizza.
Yeah, that's a missed business opportunity. It's missed business.
Look, I know he's listening.
Martin, if you're listening,
Mr. Martin.
Mr. Scorsese's.
Scorsese's Pizza. I still think Martin Scorsese's Pizza is pretty great. If I could edit photos at all, I would make it, but I can't.
You can.
No.
I mean, but the whole point is that you're not supposed to edit them really well.
I mean, it would look better if it was just like the CC's Pizza font, but instead it's like Martin Scorsese's.
Yeah, you could just take that from an image. The worse it is, the better. I say try it.
Graphic design is my passion.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, I've taken film studies classes and at the graduate level, and I've read the theories and stuff. And so like, I get why people would think of Marvel movies as like not art because they're so entrenched in the studio system of Hollywood. Right. And I totally get that. And I totally see it. But, so the fuck is Martin Scorsese? So Scorsese's Pizza. But really, like, for real though, like, it seems like you're casting stones living in a glass house, man, because his movies are created by these huge studios with millions of dollars and have been pretty much his whole career. So like, I get how you could perceive things like, you know, Marvel or DC films or like really anything Disney's ever touched. Like Frozen 2 is coming out, and look, I want to fucking see Frozen 2. I didn't give a fuck about Frozen 1, but Frozen 2 looks incredible. Thanks, baby.
You got little loops going
My
on.
hair's like doing the most.
Give me the loops, brother.
The loops, brother. Give me the loops, brother. I just washed my hair, so it's doing crazy things. But yeah, it just seems like, I don't know. And I don't know how much of that, because I haven't read the interview as extensively as I would want to actually see what his commentary is.
Yeah.
Like, really. I've mostly seen other people's takes about it, and they're either like, oh, he's so right, fuck Marvel. And then
Isn't
other
the gist of it that they're not trying to say anything? Like, they're not trying to put
Right,
forward
which-
a message. It's
right,
just
which in
entertainment
some ways
for entertainment's sake.
is fair
Yeah.
and not an invalid criticism of most movies.
Yeah.
Because
It's not like the Fast and Furious movies are trying to say anything.
Right, like,
Unless Vin Diesel's just like, we're family. Like, that's it.
right, but even that's like not saying anything, and
What are you
they're certainly
talking about?
not
Strangers
political.
can be family.
But also, like, Martin Scorsese is an old white man making movies starring old white men about old white men problems. So is Martin Scorsese saying anything? Like, I don't know. And
He's
there's
saying old white men have to become old and white.
and I think there's exceptions to that rule.
Ow, my knees.
Right?
I'm old and white.
I think in terms of representation, right? like Thor Ragnarok and Black Panther and Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel, right? Like
Yeah.
they're all actually, at least as far as representing different types of bodies on screen, they're actually saying something to some degree. I mean, the degree to which they can say it is limited by their like focus grouped Disney and Warner Brothers overlords, but they still say something. And I'll tell you, like, as a woman watching Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel, it was a really moving experience to see them and to really feel. It felt like the years that I watched Xena when I was a kid, like watching a woman on screen who I felt like was real and attainable for me.
Just bring your voice down a little bit.
Okay. Who I felt like was real and attainable for me, like someone I really could look up to, just kicking unbelievable amounts of ass. Was really lovely.
And Lucy Lawless was hot as hell.
She is still hot.
Kevin Sorbo, he's not really that good
He's
looking.
not really that good looking. I
Lucy
mean, the bod
Lawless-
is nice, but Lucy Lawless
Well,
was
yeah, he's Hercules.
the
If he didn't have a
obvious-
bod.
But
like,
he didn't even have that much of a bod.
Well, yeah, if we're going off of like today's stand.
No,
like,
I mean, even then, like,
Really?
looking back, we should rewatch
I
some
mean, like, I know
Hercules
Arnold
episodes.
Schwarzenegger would have made more sense as a Hercules.
Right,
He
but-
did play Kid Hercules in a movie at one point.
That's adorable.
I've never seen it. It's like Hercules in New York or something. It's really weird because he's wearing like
Wait,
regular
can we watch
clothes.
that at Christmas?
I don't want to watch that.
Ma'am, your
ever.
butthole is on the
Stop
screen.
it. Why do you? She knows there's a
Oh
camera
my god,
there.
you should put a censor bar over her butt.
I could.
This is the kind of content you're all here for, is cat content.
No.
Oh,
Just going for your mac and cheese.
Oh, you better not eat my mac and cheese, girl. First of all, you don't need to get any fatter. This little belly. She's
but
mad at me that I won't let her eat it.
yeah, I don't remember. It's like one of his. I think it might be his very first movie. So like his acting's not good at all.
I mean, is his acting ever really that good?
I mean, it's way better in any other movie.
He's really good in some comedies that I've seen.
Yeah, he's
But I don't know how much of that is like he's good at comedy or like they're good at placing him into a comedic situation, so it's funny regardless.
I mean, it's kind of the so like one of the things. I guess we're talking about movies today. That's fine.
That sounds great.
One of the things that I've learned recently is the reason why so many Nick Cage movies, especially recently, have him like flipping his shit is because apparently the way he works with directors is not so much that like he's just like, okay, I'm gonna be over the top. He's like, oh, here's one where I'm like really subtle, and then he gives them like 6 or so takes of him like amping up, and basically it's up to the director and editor to go with what they think works best for the scene and the like overall tone of the movie. So it's like to go through that is actually like
Yeah, I mean
makes-
that's what a lot of actors do. Like
Yeah.
they have a kind of a system like that, or
But-
the directors would tell them like, okay, give me one more, give me one more, give me one more, whatever.
Well, it's just like Nick Cage himself is like, all right, I'm not going to do it as Nick Cagey, and I'll get up to where I'm like full Nick Cage, and you decide whether or
Never
not
go
that.
full Nick Cage.
He does it all the time.
It's incredible.
I've only heard good things about the movie Mandy because it's such a fucking trip.
I've never even heard of this movie.
I've a lot of
But
people.
it sounds like Hercules in New York or whatever that film
I don't
is
remember-
needs to be
yeah.
on our schedule for Christmas.
I don't ever want to watch that movie. It looks boring as shit.
I'm
He's got
sure-
a lot of boring ass movies.
That's perfect.
I went through and watched a bunch of Schwarzenegger films at one point, and oh god, there's one where he's like living under witness protection because he was in a different place and he saw some shit go down, and
Right.
like so they were like put him in witness protection. He comes home and his wife's baking and she throws a cake at him, and he's just like, one of the like quotes from the movie is like, you shouldn't bake when you're drunk. And it's really boring. Like I want to say that movie's great. It's so boring. I was watching it and it was like, ugh, God. Like I was hoping for, Commando or
Right. At
True
least
Lies.
bad entertainment.
Yeah.
True Lies is an incredible film.
Eraser.
If you have not seen True Lies, he and Jamie Lee Curtis are absolutely incredible.
What's the other movie? The one
Love
where he's at Mars. Oh God, what's that one called? Total Recall.
I really like Kindergarten Cop.
I mean,
That's
yeah.
probably my favorite. True Lies and Kindergarten Cop. Because that's the
Mr.
one.
Mom. Wait, what is it?
Is that
No,
the one
that's
where
not
the
it.
little boy is in kindergarten class and he's like, boys have a penis and girls have a vagina?
I think so.
And it's hysterical. And I remember watching that on TNT with my mom and just like absolutely laughing my ass off because he said penis and vagina and it was so funny.
Well, what am I? Jingle All the Way.
Jingle All the Way is a good one too.
But the best line from Kindergarten Cop is, "Who's your daddy and what does he do?" It's just like, because he's trying to find a criminal, and it's
Right.
one of the kids' dads. So he just
funny.
interviews them all and asks
Really?
them what their dads
And
do.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think he's doing anything in those scenes. I think he's just being himself around kindergartners, which in and of itself is
Yeah.
hilarious. There's no need to act. He can just be Arnold Schwarzenegger around a bunch of 5-year-olds, and that's
And then
already hilarious.
you've got
Like,
Arnold's acting with little kids trying to act.
little kids are often very, very bad, but
Especially
when they're bad, they're
5-year-olds.
so good. It's so cute because they're trying.
Yeah.
The babies.
Jingle All the Way is amazing. It's a good movie.
Yeah,
I don't care what
that's a
anyone
funny one.
says.
It's
He
funny.
he gets beat up by like a bunch of Santas in a factory.
Incredible.
It makes why are there so many Santas in a factory? What's going on there?
Anytime anyone can get beat up by a bunch of Santas. in a
Sinbad
Christmas
delivers a
movie-
bomb.
Sinbad, what was he doing?
Delivering a bomb
Delivering a bomb.
because he wanted the Turbo Man doll. God, there's like I love the fact because that's still like is Jingle All the Way 90s? I think it's still like early 90s where they do montages of shit how goes on. So there's a montage of him trying to find a Turbo Man action figure and just fucking retail employees laughing in his face because he's waited too like it's like almost Christmas and he's not gonna get it. They're like, we sold out months ago, and it's just like fade in, fade out of people laughing at him, and it's like, what the fuck kind of editing is this? Oh, it's so good.
That's incredible.
Oh man, there was something else I wanted to say about movies, and now I forgot it. Like something specific. I don't remember.
But yeah, I think so. Back to this original conversation about like
Mm-hmm.
art and entertainment. I mean, I think right at its height, at its best, right, art and entertainment can be working together,
Yeah.
right?
You're peaking a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Art and entertainment can be working together, right? So you have something that is artistic, that has a message or maybe multiple messages, that is also fun as hell to watch.
Yeah.
But like obviously that is not possible or even necessarily desired. And other people disagree with me. Like I would think that good art is also entertaining art, but a lot of people would say that I'm wrong.
Yeah, because like,
And it is a matter of taste also.
did you ever watch Drive?
Yes.
Did you like Drive?
No, it was boring as fuck.
Okay.
I was like, are we really going to listen to another like indie song while he drives?
Yes.
Is that?
That's the whole
And
movie.
that's the movie.
Yeah.
And
Except
I
for
was
one
like,
part where he curb stomps a dude in front of what's her face.
yeah, and then the movie just continues, and I'm like, no, that I mean, it was like okay or whatever. It wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen, but it was boring.
I liked it, but it's very Nicholas Winding Refn is a very methodical director. Like he's like, I don't know, I'm just gonna make this scene real long. He's gonna watch a cartoon with a kid, and it's gonna go on for a while.
And I just don't. I'm like, I don't know if you're gonna have art.
Yeah, it's because that feels like a movie that's like, this is an auteur. An auteur made this movie.
And it's like, I'll
Indubitably.
be honest, I get very tired of men who think that they're making art, but then any art that's made by like not white men is not art.
Is he?
And
I
I'm
don't
just
know
like
what it
very
is.
tired. It gets very tired.
I mean, apparently any other movie he's made hasn't been received as well as Drive. I can't remember this
and
one
that
right
just
after
sounds like
that.
masturbatory. And also like there's a lot of
Neon
critics
Demon. No.
and like film festivals who do
Apparently, it's based on a book though. Drive.
believe that. Books
Yeah.
probably boring too.
Yeah,
And books can be really boring.
I don't understand the
I
same
have a
with the
whole
mask still.
English literature degree. And a lot of books are boring. That's one thing that's really funny. I always talk to my students because I teach college writing. And a lot of my students come in and they think, oh, I just need to talk about how much I love to read and write, even though for most of them, they don't actually read or write in their spare time. They only do it because they have to.
But they love it.
But they're like, oh my God, I love it. And then I'm like, you guys don't read any boring books? And they're like, what? And I'm like, you guys know that fucking boring book or writing assignment that you had to do? And they're like, oh, so we can talk about how. I'm like, yeah, just because I'm here teaching you doesn't mean you have to be a cheerleader for every single written assignment or book that's
Did
ever
you say
been created.
cheerleader?
Cheerleader.
It sounded like you said cheery leader.
Oh, I think I said like cheerleader. Like I emphasized the cheer a little much, but
Mm.
yeah, I'm like, just because I like to read doesn't mean I like to read everything. There's lots of things I read that I wish I had not, and lots of stuff I was assigned in college that I did not read. Sorry, professor.
I did a whole one-on-one like book interview about 2 books I didn't read with a teacher and got an A.
Man, the standards were low at that college, huh?
No, that was in high school.
In high school?
Yep.
Now I want to know which teacher it was.
I don't remember.
Oh. Probably
Well,
some underpaid white lady.
I mean, yeah, because I couldn't bullshit. What's her name? Her name wasn't Miss Brown.
No, Miss Brown was the one, like the crazy one with the passive verbs who would take a point off if you used any to be verbs, which is not what passive voice is, by the way.
What, is she the one with the curly hair that I'm thinking of? Or is that another lady?
I only ever had the gifted Miss Stevens.
Oh, I had her because she did honors.
She was crazy.
Senior year, yeah.
She showed us the Romeo and Juliet movie from like the 70s.
Where you see boob,
but she covered the projector so you couldn't see it. I
saw that in freshman year, and my teacher was just like, "Don't, whatever. There's gonna be titty. Don't freak out about it."
And it's like literally half of us possessed titties.
Well, yeah.
And the other half were sleeping with the half that possessed the titties.
Well, yeah.
Or if you were me, it was both. Whoa, my stomach just grumbled so much.
I wonder if that got picked up.
That would be incredible. I really hope it did.
Oh, it's nuts. 16 minutes in, I'll find out.
Yeah.
No, she was the one that liked Gilgamesh a lot. The one I'm thinking of.
Oh, wasn't that Miss Brown? Was that somebody else?
I don't remember if that's her name.
I don't remember. I never had whoever that was because I didn't.
She called him Gilgy.
I didn't take world literature or whatever. Because I took both AP.
But that wasn't the lady. It was the one after that one. Was it senior year? I don't know. I had one teacher who was kind of a
Didn't we all? I thought Miss Stevens was horrible. I did not like her. We clashed a lot.
We had a student teacher for like half the year, so and she was hot because she was also like 20.
She was like 20. But also you were like 15, so she was.
No,
probably
I was
like,
18.
Oh,
that was my senior year course. So
also gross though.
Yeah, I mean the age gap was not as nearly as high, but
still.
Yeah.
I mean, we all used to talk about the econ teacher. So
I don't get that.
He was fine as hell. I still stand by that.
I don't get it.
I really hope he never finds this podcast because he knows
why the fuck.
He was like the only econ teacher around the time that we were in high school, and certainly the only one I had. And we were all obsessed with this man.
I don't get it.
It was creepy. It was gross. It was inappropriate. If he ever knew, I am so sorry. I'm going to go ahead and say
he
right
knew.
now.
There's no way he didn't
sorry.
know.
To my high school econ teacher, we were monsters.
How old were, when did you have him? Like what year?
Senior year spring. So most of us were 18.
Year. Oh, he knew though.
Yeah.
Like 18-year-olds aren't.
We didn't know.
Yeah. They were not.
We were not subtle.
No.
Oh, and he fully, and he like made, he made terrible judgment calls every once in a while, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's wild. I just remember him telling me about how if you ever want to keep your intro rate when you sign up for Comcast or something, just argue with them and tell them it's like, I know it costs you more money, and keep waiting until you go work your way all the way up to manager. And it's like, I know it'll cost you more money to find someone new to put on this instead of to keep me on to the intro plan. So you're going to keep me on for another 6 months. And then in 6 months, we're going to do this all over again. And he's just like, yeah, just make a day of it.
That's incredible.
It makes sense because economically, he
knew
what he was talking about.
He was a great teacher. I learned a lot about economics from him, and he was really smart and really nice. And
you better not fight right now.
A great grader, and I got a 5 on that AP Econ exam. So, shout out to him for being a good teacher. But he had a bunch of 18-year-old girls who were sending very thirsty text messages to each other about him.
Jesus Christ. I don't get it. To me, I remember
if
what he looks like.
If I found out that happened to the 18-year-olds that I taught, I would freak out. I would lose my mind. I'd be like, ew.
You just have to wear a sports bra every time, so your boobs are
just mashed in.
Yeah.
Yeah, teenagers are disgusting and not subtle.
Nope.
Not
even if you think you're trying to be, it doesn't work.
You're not, and that's okay. It's fine. We all go through that, but shh.
Hey, shh, no.
Stop. Get some help.
But how did we get to our high school teachers?
Because you were talking about your English teacher that was a student teacher?
Well, no, before that. I only mentioned that after everything. Because you were saying Miss Stevens was horrible. Is this what we're going to do right now?
I'm trying to coordinate my birthday party, okay? So I am going to answer text messages on this podcast every once in a while.
This is so disrespectful. I'll have you know, Trent never looks at his phone. Because I would know. I've tried texting him. It doesn't work.
Well,
this is a call-out post.
This is a call-out post.
He's a
Trent.
boomer. That's my status on Discord and has been for the last week.
What, that Trent is a boomer?
It says Apollo is a boomer.
It's hilarious.
And then I used the old man emoji in front of it. Because he put okay Zoomer. Because I'm like, whatever, dude. You fucking boomer ass millennial.
I can't.
He's a fucking biennial.
What the fuck?
He's a moomer. God. But yeah, apparently he's got a problem with Gen Z. And I'm like, what the fuck's your problem with Gen Z? He's like, well, look at him. I'm like, what the fuck you mean, you boomer? It's a boomer ass mentality he's got going on.
Listen, you don't have to be a boomer to be a boomer.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the weird thing is people are like, you don't know what a boomer is. It's like, I do. That's why you're a boomer.
Right. Because there's people who were part of the baby boomer generation who are not boomers.
Yeah. There's
like
people
my dad isn't a boomer.
Yeah.
Like he's a boomer, but he's not.
Yeah.
Like a capital B boomer. He's just like
plenty of people
dude.
in Gen X that are boomers.
My dad's like rolling up to Bernie Sanders rallies and drinking at concerts, taking shots with me and my stepmom on vacation.
It's too much. I don't like shots. I've never liked them.
I mean, we got yummy shots. They were lemon drops, so they were just like...
I did Jell-O shots, and I didn't like them because afterward, it didn't like me.
So this one time...
They don't like me.
This one time, Nico got drunk on Jell-O shots, and then he sat there.
I got the spins.
He got the spins, and he sat for at least a good hour.
And I said, I want this to stop.
He was like, I want this to stop. I don't want to be drunk anymore. And I'm like... saying that doesn't make it happen. And he kept like going back and forth between lying back on the couch like this or like leaning forward with his head between his knees, and either way it did not seem to actually alleviate any of the like.
And then I went and lay down in your bed.
Yeah.
And this is before you were like laying in each other's beds,
like dating, yeah,
for fun.
That's
not true. We were laying in each other's beds for fun.
I mean, we were cuddling, but
no, I'm talking about fun.
Are those dead eyes?
I was wondering who was going to break first.
I hate silence on a podcast. I'm not going to allow you to do that to our listeners.
I was just
As
saying
a creative
if you break
choice,
first.
I regret it. Of course I'm going to break first. I have anxiety. What is... Of course. What?
Who doesn't have anxiety?
I don't know, but
Name
I
a
do.
person.
I don't know. I don't know everyone's medical history.
Everyone has anxiety. Our cats have anxiety.
Everyone feels anxiety. Not everyone has anxiety.
How does that
That's
work?
different. You can feel anxiety. It's an emotion, but like having an anxiety disorder is different. I have an anxiety disorder.
Oh, okay.
Just feeling anxiety is like a normal emotion people feel sometimes.
Would it be feeling anxious instead?
No, it's the same.
It just sounds weird when you say feeling anxiety.
Either way, it doesn't.
I don't know.
It's words.
Not a doctor.
I'm not a doctor.
Yeah. Good Lord, you're getting blown up.
I am.
Tell Nick he needs to fucking chill out.
Listen, he's just trying to teach the children.
Well,
apparently there's a lot of students getting tutoring right now. And he's like, what the fuck? And our boss...
We'll teach them. Stop texting. What the hell?
I know. I'm like, nah, it's fine. He's a good dude. He's very good at his job, and they all really like him.
I'm just saying.
I don't want any mixed signals to be sent. I really like Nick. He's also sort of my boss. So
right, because he listens to this.
Does he? I don't know.
I have
no idea if he does. I put it on the Twitters.
I don't think so.
And he follows me on the Twitters. But he's also very busy, so I have no idea.
I was going to say, does he have time to listen to podcasts?
I truly have no clue. Genuinely have no idea.
Hey, Nick, stop texting my wife.
That makes it sound a lot more scandalous than it really is.
That's the point of me
just
whispering
complaining
it.
about work.
That's why you whisper things, to make it sound scandally.
Hey, how you doing, little mama? Let me whisper in your ear. Tell you something that you might like to hear.
As the sirens go by, maybe drowning out.
Maybe drowning. You got a sexy ass body and your ass looks soft. That's what the words are.
Yeah, it is.
I listened to a lot of rap in the mid 2000s.
Wait do you see my... Oh, it's the censored version. They say dick.
Spoiler alert. Wow.
Spoiler alert. Lil Jon and the East Side Boys used to say dick a lot. And skeet skeet. Honestly surprised that disappeared into the ether. Like, nobody says skeet 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 anymore.
I mean, you can bring it back, I guess. But if you say it during sex, I will hate you.
I don't know how I would even... You must think I have a will and willpower that I don't have because I can
don't
barely think during sex.
This is like dick on, brain off.
Well,
Is
yeah.
that
It's most dudes.
it's not a relatable experience for me.
It's like most penis havers are like during sex, they're just like blood's gone, whatever, and then it just happens.
Wow. That must be hard to just become totally unintelligent.
You made a pun.
I know I did. I did it on purpose.
Oh, okay.
I'm well aware of my puns.
I'm just making sure.
I know when I make a dick pun.
It just didn't
'Cause
seem like
I
you
do
didn't
it on
do
purpose.
anything. You didn't
No,
like.
because if you enjoy your own pun too much, then it's not funny.
That's not true.
Just
I'm
because
living
it's-
embodiment of that not being true.
If you say so.
Oh, I do. I don't. You can keep doing that. I'm not gonna stop.
We should talk about more movies, though. I'm
Okay.
intrigued. I do actually really want to see Frozen 2. I mean, I
Okay.
know that you in no world would accompany me to see it.
I just don't have any.
But
interest.
it looks kind of awesome, and Evan Rachel Wood is in it, and I love Evan Rachel Wood. She's playing their mom, I think,
All right.
which is weird because Idina Menzel is definitely older than her, but it's fine.
Isn't Idina Menzel only do the singing part? Isn't
No.
Kristen
Bell plays the other sister,
which one?
Anna.
Really? I thought she was Elsa.
Idina Menzel is Elsa.
Wow. I thought she only did the singing parts.
No,
Huh. Okay.
no, but she does do the singing parts,
Well, yeah.
obviously.
I know that because of John Travolta, the wickedly talented Adele Dazeem.
John Travolta.
he
Being involved in Scientology really fucked with him, huh?
he had to. You think he wasn't on drugs that night?
He had to be on a lot of drugs.
He must have been blitzed.
I mean, aren't
He-
most people in Hollywood on drugs? Like, let's be real.
Yeah, but he was like confident in what he was saying.
And it's not even that hard.
Idina Menzel,
It's not that hard of a name.
Adele
It's
Dazeem.
said like it's spelled. Like, is he okay? Does he just need glasses? Like, what's...
Maybe.
And everyone in the audience was like...
I bet she was like, "Who the fuck is that?" Adele might have been in the audience. Was like, "I didn't write that song."
And I was like, I guess I'll sing it. She just stands up and goes to the stage. Surprise Idina Menzel Adele duet. Idina Menzel would get her ass kicked by Adele's voice, but
Damn.
it would be another Beyonce Jennifer Hudson from Dreamgirls situation.
I don't.
Oh, it's one of the funnier and look, Beyonce stans, don't come for me. Okay, this is just objective facts. They performed a song at I think the Oscars from Dreamgirls. And Jennifer Hudson just has a way more powerful voice than Beyonce does. Like, Beyonce's talented, obviously. I'm not stupid. But Jennifer Hudson just has a much bigger, broader, louder, more powerful
So
voice.
like the Christina Aguilera Demi Lovato duet,
But worse.
but worse.
Yeah, because Demi Lovato still has that depth to her voice, and Beyonce just doesn't. It's just not, especially then. Like, Beyonce, I think, since has done more training, and as you get older, your voice gets more depth and has a richness to it that it doesn't necessarily have when you're younger. And yeah, Jennifer Hudson made Beyonce look like a 3-year-old kid at their recital.
Damn.
It was embarrassing. And I don't know how much of it was on purpose or if they just rehearsed it that way and they let it go to stage like that. But it was like,
I mean,
it was embarrassing. 'Cause
maybe they rehearsed it and then Jennifer Hudson went up there and was like, "That was my time."
right. I mean, and
This
you know
is my
what? Good
hour.
for her because Beyonce was way more famous even after the movie came out than she was. But
Is Jennifer Hudson
yeah, she's still doing stuff.
okay?
She's
I was gonna say Beyonce's
acting,
still way
singing.
more
Yeah,
famous.
she's still way more famous.
Yeah.
And in some ways because she's managed her brand a lot better. But that performance was hard to watch.
Excuse me.
And as someone who's done singing and choir and music stuff for a while, I can tell there's someone who just has more raw chops and whose voice is just more powerful. It's like those people shouldn't sing together.
Yeah.
You know, because their voices compete and one always wins.
It's like if Kurt Cobain sang with anybody.
Right.
Because, I mean, he's not a singer. He just sang for the band because it's like, we need someone to do the lyrics.
In that way, it's not at all like that. But if Kurt Cobain and Bob Dylan did a duet, then that would be like, oh, they're both comparably bad singers.
We're going in on Bob Dylan.
Right. Well,
Watch
I mean,
out.
and like I love Bob Dylan as a writer, but like as a human being and a singer, he's garbage. Which is fine. And Kurt Cobain is like not really a singer. His voice is a little more powerful than
He
Bob
didn't even
Dylan's,
really
but-
think of himself as a guitarist because he
No.
was like, I don't know, I kind of just did stuff.
He's like, I'm just a famous asshole, but it's fine.
And then he died.
R.I.P. But it'd be more like, I'm trying to think of something comparable. It's
don't
like,
I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody knows who those two people were. They
Yeah.
were in the zeitgeist. Especially
Yeah.
was Jennifer Hudson an American Idol? Okay, that's what I was
Yeah.
like. Am I remembering her from that?
and she's done like gospel albums and stuff. I mean, like
Boo.
stuff where like, I mean, I'm not a fan of gospel music necessarily, but there's a lot of really good,
It's just
very
so
powerful.
preachy.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the point.
Well, yeah,
But
I'm not religious, so it's like
Gospel music is so preachy. Yeah, dude.
I get that. That's the point. I'm just not religious, so I'm like, it doesn't do anything for me.
That's fair.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of powerful voices in gospel music.
yeah.
So, and she's more in that vein, whereas
Did you ever see
Beyonce's a little
this-
more pop R&B.
Well, yeah. Did you ever see the South Park episode where they make a gospel band?
No, but that sounds incredible.
It's because Cartman wants to try to get a platinum record,
Okay.
and they do really well. But then he finds out you can't go platinum as a gospel artist.
Like you're not allowed to?
They're ranked in two different ways. Yeah. So he finds that out, and he's like, "What the fuck?" Because it's Cartman.
Right.
And the best part, or not the best part, but one of the funnier parts of the episode is he goes up to who's the one black kid on the show?
Token?
Token. Yeah, because he's the token
Because
black
he's the
kid.
token black kid.
Yeah. He goes up to Token. He's like, "Hey, we want you to be our bassist." He's like, "What? Why are you asking me to be your bassist? Is it only because I'm black? Do you think because I'm black I can play bass?" And Cartman's like, "Well, yeah." And so Token picks up the bass and he fucking just gets on it. He's like, "God damn it."
I love South Park.
He's like
Every
disappointed.
once in a while, they really nail it.
He's disappointed he
When
fits
they
the
named
stereotype.
Token, they nailed it.
Oh yeah, they
I'm
knew
like,
what they were
everything
doing.
he does is funny now because he's Token.
Yeah.
The black kid. That's so good.
But yeah, it was just funny because Token's disappointed in himself for knowing how to play bass without knowing how to play bass.
Incredible.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's like they go Violet or something or Velvet. It's like it's a whole different ranking system for how they like sell records.
I had no idea.
At least in the show. I don't know if that's real, but in the show he couldn't go platinum because he was a gospel artist.
That's incredible.
Yeah, they have a album artwork where it's like Cartman's like and doing that shit. So
Gospel cover art.
it's wild.
It's exactly what you think it's gonna be, but maybe
It's like
just
every
a
Creed
little
album
bit
artwork,
more.
but with more Christianity in it.
With some extra Jesus. Now with extra Jesus.
I mean, Creed's already pretty Jesus-y.
yeah.
With arms wide open. Like, come,
With arms wide open.
like I mean, it's not really subtle.
No.
You don't have to read between the lines for that song.
And then he's like literally standing on a cliff, like this white guy with a beard and long hair, but like this.
Yeah, like
And I'm like,
no shirt.
we get it.
It's like it's about Jesus. We got you.
We get it.
It's about white Jesus.
White Jesus. It's my song. Every
nice.
time we reference white Jesus, I'm going to sing White Jesus.
All right. I mean, you do what you got to do.
Thank you.
Okay.
This is my contribution to the podcast.
Nice.
So
What did we were originally talking about movies, and I don't.
I was
remember.
talking about Frozen 2.
Well,
How
yeah.
I kind of want to see it.
I don't care about that movie.
Well,
I don't care about Frozen in general.
this because you don't like musicals because you have no taste.
I don't. I just didn't like Frozen in general.
But you also don't like musicals because
Well, yeah.
you have no taste.
I mean, I'm not going to argue about me having taste. I like Arnold Schwarzenegger movies and Marvel movies, and that's about it.
And that's literally it.
I watch comedies sometimes.
Occasionally.
Yeah.
Did we watch Always Be My Maybe together, or did you just see parts of it because I was watching it?
No, I watched it all. Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that's good.
Keanu Reeves is really excellent in that film.
So is oh god, I forgot his name.
You
The
know,
main character,
Randall Park.
Randall Park. There we go.
Love him.
Yeah.
Ali Wong, hilarious. It's good shit.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I don't know. I just don't. I talked about this in one of the episodes where I was still by myself. I don't seem to care about stories and things as much anymore. So it's hard for me to really like get gripped by it. Like one of the I think if I were to have never watched Iron Man and then the Incredible Hulk and like had started with the Marvel movie franchise from the beginning, I probably wouldn't give a shit.
Why
think
is that?
because I just at that point it's just like, oh, there's been like that many movies. I don't care. Well, it's one of those things where you're like, oh, like because your boss Mandy, who was like, oh, I'm going to try to watch this movie because 2 of my kids have to, like a couple of her mentees had to write a report on them. Or,
They had to write a paper about Endgame.
She's like, I'm going to watch
Or they
this.
chose to write a paper about Endgame.
Yeah, and she
didn't
was like, I have no idea what's happening because she had caught maybe a few of them before.
Yeah.
But this is the culmination of like...
So she started watching Infinity War, and within 5 minutes, she was like calling me into her office. She was like, I have absolutely no idea what's happening. Who is this? And I'm like, that's Thor. She was like, I don't know. I don't recognize Thor. Like she...
Well, he doesn't have long hair anymore.
And he's got one eye in the beginning of that movie.
Yeah.
So it was just a lot. And she was very confused.
He's also bloodied and his beard's darker.
Yeah,
than
like
ever.
she was very annoyed. Yeah. She was like, I'm really just trying to understand this film. And I can't.
It's good luck.
I was like, she was like, are there other ones that I should watch? I was like, well, I mean, you know, if you want to like substantively understand any of them,
just just do the wiki summary of every
I was
movie.
Like, or just watch like all of them. And she was like, I'm busy. And I was like, yeah, I know. So I don't really know.
What I just said. Read the summary. Read the summaries of the movie on Wikipedia.
That's true. But yeah, I mean, and the students had to give summaries in their papers, so.
But yeah, like that's one of the things is like if you jump into the last 2 movies of the franchise and you maybe have seen you maybe seen Iron Man 1,
I mean,
Thor
that's kind
1.
of what Tiffany did. She saw Black Panther and Infinity War.
She shouldn't have liked Infinity War.
She cried.
She shouldn't have liked it.
She was like, I have no connection to these characters, and yet here I am weeping.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense because you don't get character development in Infinity War.
Right.
Their
She
arc,
wept.
their arc
blame
develops
Tom
from Infinity War to Endgame. Like, if those are smashed together, then yeah, you have character arcs.
Right.
But in Infinity War by itself,
Nothing.
nobody changes.
Right.
Thor maybe the most, but
Maybe.
like not really.
Right.
Not through that movie. Through the events of that movie into Endgame, his character completely changes because
Right.
he's depressed as fuck.
Right.
Because he finally realizes all of his family's dead, and he failed. But you know, I don't understand how Tiffany felt any emotional connection to the characters at all.
Because she likes a good story.
I mean, yeah, but
It's a well-told story. I will stand by Infinity War being perhaps the best film in the whole franchise.
I mean, I'm not gonna
Because in
argue
some ways
that.
it's all about Thanos. And so she was like, okay, well, I'll figure out all these other characters from like context. But like really what all of us were doing is learning about Thanos. And she was really moved by that. And also Tom Holland.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Tom Holland. Incredible performance.
Apologies to Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. Matt Damon? Remember the
Who was in
beginning of
Thor
Thor
Ragnarok?
Ragnarok?
Yep.
And we both just shouted, Matt Damon? Because what the fuck?
Also, Sam Neill from Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
He's in that scene. Another Hemsworth's in that scene playing Thor.
It's just like, what is happening?
You got to get the cameos in where you can get them.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Taika Waititi just is apparently just fun to hang out with. So everyone's like, I don't know, I'll just roll up.
Yeah, he was apparently, I don't know if it was TIFF or it was one of the film festivals, and he was hanging out. God damn, really?
She's just trying to flash us off. Hey, Papa.
And at one point, he may have been a little drunk or something because he was hanging out without any shoes on.
Taika.
Because it was for
love
Jojo
him.
Rabbit.
I do want to see that.
Yeah, I've heard it's got heart. It's funny.
I mean, everything Taika does like has heart and is funny. I feel like
Well, yeah, I mean that's kind of his
even what
MO.
we do in the shadows, which is really weird, it still like has heart. Like it's ultimately a romance.
What?
Yeah, because it's about the Taika's character and that old lady,
Oh yeah.
and he turns her into a vampire too, so they can be together.
Even though she's like 80.
Spoiler alert, I guess, for what we do in the shadows, which is like a 10-year-old.
I mean, also, what's his name? Doug, Dave, the tech guy they like so much.
Yeah,
What's his name?
I think it's Doug.
Is it Doug?
No, Craig.
No, it's not
It's
Craig.
some other white man.
Is it
name.
Doug?
It might be Doug,
Let's look it up.
but maybe Doug. We're not looking it up, but maybe because maybe I'm just thinking Doug because of Ragnarok. Oh, hey, new Doug.
Oh yeah, Doug. I don't know.
I forget his name.
I do too.
Anyway.
He gets turned into a werewolf, and they're like, "Well, now we gotta be friends with the werewolves
Yeah,
because
so cute.
that's their best friend."
Yeah. It's got heart. It
Yeah.
really does have heart. The swearwolves. Werewolves, not swearwolves. So cute.
Yeah. But let's ask Martin Scorsese if that movie qualifies as art. What's the greater meaning of that movie?
In some ways, we're like, that is an indie film. So, like...
What's the meaning behind it all? Scorsese?
And, like, it's also hard when people who make really realistic, grounded films try to talk about films that are clearly not realistic and grounded.
Yeah.
You know, like, are the Lord of the Rings films art or entertainment?
It's about friendship.
And I'm like, I don't know. They're kind of boring. I mean, the Hobbit films are way more boring, but
Well, yeah.
like Lord of the Rings is like way too long. There's no reason. Like, I enjoyed watching them, especially when they came out, though I was never like a Lord of the Rings fan.
We just lost 3 patrons.
I'm sure, and they are allowed to hate me as much as they want. It's fine. I understand that I have controversial opinions and that I'm a nerd who doesn't like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings.
I mean, I don't. Star Wars fans don't like Star Wars right now, except for Baby Yoda and
Baby
the
Yoda.
fucking video game that just came
It's just
out.
so weird. And like all these people who like loved Star Wars on my timeline, like saw whatever the last movie was and then just got so up in arms. And I was like, it was the only Star Wars movie I would ever watch again. Because it was actually a decent film.
I don't know. People are just like, I know why people are upset. They're upset that Luke went from like this hero down to drinking titty milk from some weird space cow thing.
But it's like he was also like depressed and on an island alone for decades.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, but
that'll
it ruins,
make your shit weird, man.
Yeah, but I mean, but think of all the people who liked the previous, like the original movies, thinking of this character being brought back. Like, you build up an image in your head, and when that image doesn't connect with what's actually happening, you're gonna be upset.
And to them, I say, welcome to the club. That's what every Game of Thrones person felt like.
Well,
That's what every Harry Potter fan felt like when we saw Dumbledore be like, "Did you put your name in the goblet of fire, Harry?" And we were all like, literally in the book it says he says it quietly. like the word quietly is used. And then he screams it while running at him.
and shaking him.
And shaking him. And I'm like, please put that young boy down, sir.
Put that young boy down now.
Now, sir. I don't know. It's like sometimes
In
things
10
change.
years.
And it was like,
Oh, God, what's her name? The author.
J.K. Rowling.
It's like, in 10 years, J.K. Rowling's going to say you're gay. Put that boy down now. We're going to look back on the scene, and it's going to be different.
That tweet that was like, it's Pride Month.
Oh, is
Take
it?
a number and you'll be assigned to sexuality by J.K. Rowling.
Or J.K. Rowling saying that Albus Dumbledore and what's the guy that he's supposed to be with had a very carnal physical relationship or whatever the fuck. It's like,
Grindelwald?
I think. I don't know. Which one is he supposed to be attracted to?
Grindelwald.
Yeah, then. Oh, yeah, because it's Jude Law and Johnny Depp. She tweeted that.
Oh, J.K. Joanne, just...
Her name's Joanne.
Yeah.
Joanne Kooky. That's the K. It's K. It's Kooky. I don't know. I've never seen any of the, what are they, Beasts movies? Something Fantastic Beasts movies, because I didn't
You're
care.
not really a Harry Potter fan, so...
Yeah, but like I felt like those movies weren't supposed to be Harry Potter movies, but the second one's just like, here's Dumbledore, and here's like stuff
like
leading
hot,
up to
young Dumbledore.
Yeah, it's just like, what?
And creepy Johnny Depp, even after all of the like abuse allegations with Amber Heard came out. So
Yeah, but then after, like, didn't that turn out to be the other way around, to where he was abused later?
I mean, he claimed that in court, but had no proof.
Oh, I have no idea. I didn't
Whereas
keep up
she
with
had
it.
proof.
Yeah,
So
I don't know. I
because
didn't
she
keep
had
up
text
with it.
messages with his assistant, where his assistant was like trying to get them to reconcile, but like admitted that he like kicked her in the stomach and all kinds of crazy shit.
Oh, jeez.
And it's like, also, maybe if they're both like abusive and terrible,
You just not.
maybe you just don't work with either of them, if that's the case. But also, it's true that a lot of people who are abused like fight back and do things that we might look on as abuse, but that doesn't negate
Yeah, what happened to
sort of
them.
the original thing. Like, if someone's kicking me in the stomach, you think I'm not going to fight them?
Um,
I'm gonna fight them. I will lose, but I will fight them.
Well, yeah.
So you can be like, well, she
Self-defense.
also punched me. Yeah, I did. Like, of course I did.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do? Just
I didn't keep up with it past a certain point.
Yeah, I did because I really like Amber Heard.
I just didn't care about Johnny Depp, so I was like, oh, he's shitty? All right.
Right. I mean, and there have been rumors about him that he's shitty and it has nothing to do with abuse, that he's just like a shitty person.
I mean, I heard he can
So-
barely read anymore because his eyesight's bad, so...
Oh.
Well,
That's
no,
sad.
hey, you would think that, but then
That's
he
sad.
gets on the set and is like, all right, somebody read my lines to me. That's like, come on.
When you got millions of dollars.
Just get, like, you own glasses. We've seen you with glasses.
Yeah.
Just read your fucking script, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I've just heard like that he's not great to work with.
Yeah.
And he's done some things in the past that I don't really love. But Amber Heard has been relatively unoffensive to me. So when I heard a lot of these allegations, I don't know, what I read a while ago did not seem convincing to me that
Yeah.
she had done anything. He basically said it in court while she was presenting her side of the story, and then some people just believed it and were shitting on her, and I found that to be very troubling. Just because of what I know about how abusive relationships actually work and
Yeah.
how victims of that abuse are often gaslit into saying that any kind of self-defense is just as bad, which
Yeah.
is not the same thing. Like that
doesn't make sense.
self-defense is not abuse. That's not how that works, team. And if anyone tries to tell you otherwise, they're just incorrect.
They're bad people.
Yeah, they just
Be a lot
want-
like if someone came up to you and was like, I'm going to kick your ass. Don't fight back. And then you're like, what? And then just beat you to
Right,
the
and, like,
ground.
Like if someone is beating you up and you like punch them to get away, that's not you also beating them up.
Yeah.
That's like not how things work.
Yeah. If you get beat up and you can't defend yourself, that's called battery. But if you do defend yourself, it's just assault.
Right. Like either way, it's like a crime. Like
Yeah.
either way, it's not okay. and
Yeah.
You just
But
shouldn't-
battery's worse.
Right.
It's because you can't defend yourself.
Right. And so that's, yeah, it's just a crazy.
It's
That
nuts.
just seemed like a lot. And I'm like, if it's really that bad and toxic, then like, why is he in this film for children?
Because, I mean, is it for children? I heard there's a scene where they kill a baby.
I mean, it's implied. You don't like watch the baby die.
I heard it is.
Like, I don't know. We all watched Bambi when we were kids, and that mom fully dies.
Well, yeah, but I
That
heard the scene.
traumatized
There's
me
a
as a
scene
child.
where the baby's like going down a river or something. I don't know.
I don't
Or a dead
remember.
body.
I don't remember.
I'm like, what the fuck?
I mean, they are a little darker.
also, McGonagall's in them, even though she shouldn't be at Hogwarts or something.
McGonagall?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's what I heard. Somebody, like, I was listening to a review of it, and it's like, why the fuck? Like, they were like, this cameo doesn't make any sense. She's not supposed to be a professor at the school for another, like, 20 years.
And
I don't know. I don't watch the movies because I don't care.
I mean, I was a huge Harry Potter fan as a kid, and the longer that J.K. Rowling has access to Twitter, and the more that I listen to how other people interpret the text, the less I like them.
Yeah.
Mostly because other people are not trained in how to interpret literature, so there's that. And also because people just really are out here saying dumbass shit on the internet
I mean,
and
yeah.
just clicking that post button. And
I
then
mean, that's what you do.
the rest
when
of us have to just read it with our own face balls.
You don't have to say face.
Face balls.
Joan two balls.
Face balls.
I mean, that's what happens when you give everybody an opportunity to say whatever they want. Look at this.
All the dumb shit that, yeah, that's fair. All the dumb shit that people would have otherwise only been able to say to people in their immediate physical vicinity.
Yeah, can now post
Can now
it
be
for
read
everyone.
by everyone.
Yeah.
Even my dad knew about the 30 to 50 feral hogs meme.
Oh my god.
He was so excited to tell me. And I was like, Dad, that was like a thing on the internet for like a week. And then I was like, oh, did you hear about the feral hogs that found the cocaine in the forest? And he was like, the what? And he was like, they did what? And I was like, they found $20,000 worth of cocaine in the forest, which I'm
And
sure.
ate it.
And they ate it. And he was like, oh, then that guy needed assault rifles. And I was like, exactly. That's the
You're gonna
only
need more than
situation.
that.
Yeah, I was like, that's the only situation when you need an assault rifle is if you have 30 to 50 coked up feral hogs filled with $20,000 worth of cocaine barreling towards you. Then
You need more than an assault rifle.
Yeah,
you've gotta blow them up.
Right,
You're not gonna stop. They won't feel the bullets hit them.
That's incredible. I mean, I'm sure at least a few of them had to die, right?
I mean, their hearts probably exploded.
Probably just
yeah.
exploded from that amount of stimulation. But also,
I know you didn't watch The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air,
I did not.
but there's an episode where Carlton does speed because somebody had it in their locker and he's at a dance, like at a school dance, and he's like dancing his heart out, and he almost dances his heart out and has to be taken to the hospital.
Carlton.
Yeah, those 90s sitcoms really like, look, we're going to have episodes that deal with drug. There's an episode where Will and Carlton are at an ATM. Somebody holds them up and Will gets shot and he's in a wheelchair. Yeah.
Oh.
They're like, we're going to have these deep episodes.
There's a reason why a lot of millennials have a lot of empathy, and I think it's because some of the sitcoms we watched growing up actually had
They had episodes dedicated.
that really like struck us and taught us stuff.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, even though I didn't watch Fresh Prince, I still watched a lot of sitcoms with my family and a lot of Law and Order.
Oh, God.
A lot of Law and Order.
I saw
can't
too much
even.
Law and Order SVU growing up.
I fully can't watch it anymore. It's actively just like I tried to watch like marathon a bunch of episodes on Netflix a couple of years ago, and like Mariska Hargitay is incredible. She's a queen. I'm obsessed with her, but I just cannot watch her work because it's just like trauma after trauma after trauma.
Well,
and I'm
that's
like,
the whole show. There's a subplot where oh God, what's his name? Christopher Maloney, his character, his whole family dynamic falls apart because he's so obsessed with trying to catch rapists and pedophiles.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know. He sounds like the only decent cop on the force to me. But,
but there's that whole. I remember an episode.
Him and Olivia Benson, they're the only good ones. Well, and Ice-T, but that's.
You ever heard of crocodile crack? It's where you take Cheetos, grind it up into dust, stuff it up someone's ass, and snort it out of there. It's like, where did you guys get this?
I give him just the absolute worst lines on the show, and he delivers them with grace.
It's so good.
Ice-T, if you ever hear this, I want you to know I respect the fuck out of you.
It's so good.
And your Twitter account is incredible.
Gamers. I love those tweets. So that way anybody who doesn't like video games just tunes out.
And I also love when people will tweet like mean shit at him, and he just is like, man, shut the fuck up.
Have you seen my wife? Fuck off.
Right. Just punch yourself in the face right now, man.
But
he's incredible.
Yeah, they're like, because one of the things that happens in the show is there's a scene. I don't even remember what episode this is dealing with, but they figure out that this guy has this girl, and they're trying to like he has her held hostage at gunpoint, like at close range, and they're trying to talk him down, and fucking Stabler just kicks the door open and shoots him, and it's like, oh, that was badass, but then he's got to get reprimanded because nobody told him to do that. No one okayed that.
Stabler.
It's like, yeah,
Stabler
cool.
said, "Kill your local rapist."
But you know
what he said.
Yeah, but the thing is like there was actual punishment for him going a little bit of rogue there, which makes sense.
Which like cops shouldn't do. It's
Yeah.
That's how you know it's fiction. It's because he actually got held accountable for killing someone.
Well, I mean, there was a
Zing.
bunch of witnesses.
Again, he actually got held accountable. Zing.
Mariska Hargitay is not going to let their partner just go around murdering people.
Again, zing. Like, I don't.
It's 'cause, hey, cut it out.
Did you hear her little claws?
Yes, she's still doing it.
Callie.
It's either Cali or Alaska. It's not them.
It's Callie. I saw her little ears run away.
Yeah.
Law and Order SVU is really fucked up. I think my favorite arc was Stabler like falling apart and just being like, I'm gonna just kill all the rapists, and I was like, perfect. This is what y'all should have been doing from the jump, but I will allow this.
Well, you know, there's laws and stuff.
I mean, listen, they're NYPD cops. They can do literally whatever the fuck they want.
Not on the TV show, man.
I know.
They gotta make it. They gotta make you seem like. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
honestly.
I don't know what you're trying to say either. I don't know.
Because I mean, look. That's it. Just look.
Just look.
Yeah.
Look it up.
Yeah. No, not look it up. Just look.
Okay.
I got nothing.
All right.
I don't understand. Like, cops and media, they do a lot of things where we're like, woo, because it's like, but in real life, they're not allowed to do any of that stuff.
That's one thing.
I think it popularizes kind of the idea that they can do it, but they shouldn't.
That's one thing I like about Brooklyn Nine-Nine is they'll often be like, yeah, and then I'm going to do this thing. And then they'll all be like, no, you can't do that. That's like obstruction, or that's like illegal, or that's evidence tampering, or whatever.
I mean, there's
right, because Andy Samberg's character is like always just trying to be the hero cop.
Yeah, I mean, there's even the scene where he's like, "Oh, this is my Die Hard moment," and then he does get his Die Hard moment, but still,
right? But still, they're like, "Please don't."
Yeah, and then Gina has a can of hairspray and a lighter and uses a small flamethrower. But like, yeah, but the difference though, like I think one of the things they do in Brooklyn Nine-Nine is like they recognize the fact that they're not beat cops, like they're investigators and like detectives. Like they're not always out on the street working, till 3 a.m. or whatever. They have like a 9 to 5 they do. Yeah, because one of the things is they get weekends off. It's like
Right.
beat cops don't get weekends off.
Right.
You get whatever day off you're not scheduled.
Right.
They're they're detectives, so they have it better and they get paid better. That's one of the things they recognize kind of not frequently, but they do.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to Andy Samberg's character Jake having to rat out his old partner because he planted drugs on a guy.
Yeah.
And it even ends with a in-office brawl between the two precincts. So, but that's played for comedy.
Yeah.
Because if all of a sudden a bunch of cops started fighting each other, I don't know how well that would end, especially on cameras inside a police station.
There's a lot
Yeah.
to unpack there.
Yeah.
And if there's any fight involving Terry Crews wins.
Well, yeah.
He's enormous.
Look at him.
I love all the jokes they make about like his pecs.
What-
And then he just like flexes his pecs.
There's one of his Halloween outfits is like, what is it? Salt and pepper, because he's a salt and pepper shaker and he just flexes his pecs.
I have never felt more joy in my entire life. I have to find that Halloween costume.
It's not he just put 2 sticky notes on his chest.
Perfect. That's exactly the amount we need for a Halloween costume from Terry Crews. That's all I want to see, actually, is just 2 sticky notes on his pecs.
Yeah. Because what they make, that's like one of the things that they go to whenever he's playing a character. In The Longest Yard, they did it because he's like, dancing and flexing his pecs a bunch without a shirt on. We're bringing back The Longest Yard again. We make a little, that's just how many times we've referenced that
The
movie.
second time. Because
Yeah.
we talked about Riverdale last time, the longest yard
Oh,
Riverdale
Everett.
sequence.
Yeah. But also, I don't know how I.
But the longest yard is a funny film, so
Yeah.
I prefer to talk about it.
R.I.P. Chris Rock's character.
R.I.P.
He just gets lit in flames, and that's it.
R.I.P. Chris Rock.
Not in real life. Jesus. You can't just do that.
Can't just pronounce a man dead.
It's like anytime you see a celebrity's name on Twitter, you're like, oh, God. And then you got to find
Scares
out.
me.
It's like they're
Betty
either.
White was trending on Twitter a couple weeks ago. I was like, y'all motherfuckers.
Nope. Wasn't
I
it her
will
birthday?
cry. I don't remember what it was.
Oh, okay.
I just saw she wasn't dead, and I was like, okay, that's all I care about.
That's the thing, though. It's like, you're like, oh, no, are they dead? Did they get Me Too'd? What
Right.
happened?
It's one or the other, and I don't like the idea
And then
of
you
either
look
of
it
them.
up, and it's just like, man, I really like this person. You're like, oh, thank God. Okay. I
And
thought.
it's something like, oh, they're releasing a new movie, or they did something funny in an interview, or like,
oh.
and you're
okay.
like, oh, thank God, I can still enjoy their media, and or not cry because they're alive.
Yeah.
So the day that Betty White dies is going to be a really sad day for me.
Yeah. It's going to be a sad day for a lot of people. It's the last Golden Girl.
She is a golden girl.
Yeah.
She's so funny in that role.
She's just funny.
And I like that they're all just like, shut up, Rose.
That's her.
She's just
She's
full of
always
joy.
smiling.
So cute.
That's because she's on drugs most of the time. I like how you learned way into the
Way
show.
in the show that she's a whole pill addict.
Yep. And she's like, I'm not an addict. It's like, yeah, you actually are. You've been
Yeah,
high for
I've
every.
been taking these for years. First of all, how did all these women live together and they didn't know that one of them is a gambling addict and another one is a whole pill addict?
Because they didn't do interviews.
I guess not.
I mean, when you're an old white lady and your 2 roommates are old white ladies, what do you got to lose?
I don't know.
Exactly.
A lot, I guess.
I mean, yeah, but like originally.
They're not like that old. They're just supposed to be middle aged.
Yeah, but think about it. It's the 80s, early
I really
90s.
wish I had learned about this show while B. Arthur was still alive. Like, I didn't watch Golden Girls until like a month ago.
Yeah.
And now I'm obsessed because it's a perfect TV show.
Now you can understand why Deadpool's swords are being Arthur.
I support it. And there was that one Halloween episode of New Girl where Nick has a headband with like bee antenna and he has a t-shirt on that says Arthur.
Oh my
'Cause
God.
he's B. Arthur. And I didn't get it the first time I
Like
watched
Arthur
that
the
episode.
Aardvark?
No, it just says Arthur. Like
Oh my God.
A-R-T-U-R.
It just says the word Arthur.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a picture of
No, it's
Arthur.
just a white
God.
t-shirt with Arthur on it. And he just has a bee headband.
Do they all have costumes like that episode?
Sometimes.
Well, I meant-
no, because that's when Schmidt is dressed up as young Lincoln.
Oh,
Excuse me.
because
He says like our greatest Jewish president or something
What
like
the
that.
was Abraham Lincoln Jewish?
There's actually a few fairly credible theories. I think he was.
Okay.
So he apparently didn't attend church very often, unlike most presidents. So that could have been, the Civil War. He didn't exactly
What?
have days off during the Civil War.
And the one day he did have off, he got offed.
That was after the war was over, though.
He was a day off.
What
though.
the fuck? What in the fuck? But yeah, and there are just some folks who think that he might have been at least partially
Okay.
Jewish. I'll be honest. A lot of Jews say that. Not a lot of non-Jews say that.
Yeah, but
So
why
I don't
would
know
the
how much of
non-Jews
that.
say it?
I mean, I don't know, but Jews sometimes just choose to believe that about people because we want to claim people who have like dark hair and big noses in history.
Well, can you blame them?
I mean, no, my people just want to have famous people that are part of us. But but yeah, it's sort of
okay.
like a joke that's not a joke. It's like a historical theory that would be really hard for us to ever actually prove is true.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So there are some
Okay.
people who believe it and some people who don't. And either way, it doesn't actually matter that much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, there are alive Jewish people who are great that we could also celebrate and uplift.
Like Adam Sandler. No.
I mean, I guess he's not terrible, but all my students, I was talking. So I have a lot of Jewish students in my class
Yeah.
because Pittsburgh has a lot more Jews
Seth
than
Rogen.
any place I've ever lived. Yeah, Seth Rogen is a Jew. We can uplift and
I
celebrate
can't do
him.
his laugh at all.
His laugh is so goofy.
It's very unique.
I'm like, this is why you dropped out of high school. Were you getting bullied, Seth? Because
No,
you
he
were a
dropped out of high
fucking
school
nerd.
because he was doing stand-up that his parents were driving him to.
Canadians, man.
I love that
Crazy.
they show the one joke. He's like, yeah, bro, you probably know of me. I was in Playgirl. He's like 15.
I know. What is he? He says 3-time Playgirl centerfold. Incredible. I mean, it's a good joke. It's
Yeah.
creepy because he's a child.
But that's why he
But-
wrote it. It's
but
because he
it's
knows
so
it's not
funny.
true.
Right.
He's like, I'm not that good looking. I'm also 15.
So it's pretty great. So a lot of my Jewish students are like, they were like, do you know the Hanukkah song? And I was like, fuck yeah, I know the Hanukkah song. I was like, which version is your favorite? Because there's different volumes of the Hanukkah song. Have you ever heard the Hanukkah song
I have
by
no
Adam
idea.
Sandler? Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's basically a song where he like just talks about being a Jew and he just lists a bunch of Jews.
Oh, okay. Do you ever watch his animated movie?
8 Crazy Nights.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's in the very first Hanukkah song that he wrote. He has a thing. I forget what it rhymes with or it goes, and then he goes,
That's a musical. I don't hate that.
Crazy Nights. And that's where the title of that movie.
I'll say 8 Crazy Nights is a musical. I don't hate it.
Is it a musical? I haven't seen it in so
There's
long.
a bunch of musical numbers in it.
Well, that's because Adam Sandler writes music,
Well, yeah.
and it's pretty funny.
There's a whole sequence where he goes to a mall and he doesn't want to read the letter from his parents, and then all of the mall inanimate objects sit him down for him to read it. I mean, it's a musical scenario, so it doesn't have to make sense.
Right.
And it's a cartoon.
Yeah. So Adam Sandler is pretty good.
No.
Who are other Jews that I like? Did you know Paula Abdul is Jewish?
No. Why would I? Why would I even guess that she was
I
Jewish?
found that out the other day. She's Mizrahi. Her family is Syrian.
Oh.
Yeah. Paula Abdul.
Cool.
These are just things to know.
Jew
I had
Facts.
no idea.
Thank you for subscribing to Jew Facts.
Jew Facts by Allie. It's the Jew corner. That sounds weird.
Don't put Jews in a corner, Allie. That happened already, and we said never again.
No, Bab, don't say that. You can't make those jokes. They're
Look,
not okay.
if John Mulaney's allowed to get playfully anti-Semitic, then why can't I?
No. That wasn't playfully anti-Semitic. That was just anti-Semitic.
I don't know. We're laughing now.
I mean, I like to tease Nico and tell him that anytime he says something I don't like, he's being anti-Semitic. And he usually laughs, but sometimes he's like, I'm really not. And that's what I live for. Have you ever told the story on the podcast about saying Gesundheit?
I don't remember.
Have we ever told this story?
I don't think so.
This is a great story. And this should ultimately tell you that Nico is the nicest dude in the whole world. He's so I tell this to my friends and they're like, they laugh and they're also like, oh my God, that's so sweet. Like, I know, right? So one time in the first few months that we were seeing each other, I sneezed.
Why are you offended?
And Nico was like, "Oh, Gesundheit," like saying "bless you" in German.
It doesn't translate to bless you, which is why I used it, because
what does it translate to?
like with good health or something.
Oh, it's like salud in Spanish.
Yeah.
When people sneeze, you say salud.
Because I am.
It's health.
Are you going to come up or what? Stop being indecisive. But the reason I don't say bless you is because I'm not religious.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he said that, and I jokingly, because this is a clearly absurd statement to make, said, "Oh, like I don't like hearing German because I'm Jewish."
There you go.
And for years, Nico didn't say it because he thought it made me genuinely uncomfortable.
Look, I
to
just
hear
accepted.
him speak a German word.
I just assumed that, you know.
He's the nicest dude in the whole world. And then, like, I don't even remember how you figured out.
I don't think I did. I was just like, oh, I don't think it's Gesundheit anymore because you don't like it. And you were like, I was joking. I was like, what do you mean? You said German makes you nervous. And you were like, I wasn't in the Holocaust.
I'm not. And I'm also not, like, a Holocaust descendant. No one in my family was living in Europe at the time.
Yeah.
Like, there's no...
Yeah, no connection.
I got
it.
no connection.
But
My people haven't had German spoken at them in a real long, like 100 years. But Nico was so sweet.
I just thought I'm gullible. That's what it is.
You're just sweet. I mean, I thought I said it in a joking tone. And of course, it's a ridiculous thing to say on its face, I feel like. But that's, but you didn't know that, I guess.
I don't know.
He was just being kind and respectful, trying not to upset me. And this is what happened.
Yeah.
I like you a lot.
I like you too.
Gotta explain for the people who can't see what's happening.
Oh, that's right. I forget that I can't just hold my hand up and
And then the audience will always know.
I was pointing out my wedding
That's why
ring.
you should subscribe to the Patreon at $5 or more so that you can see the video.
Yeah. I was holding up my wedding ring. It's on my right hand because it doesn't fit on my left hand.
It doesn't fit on your left hand?
I mean, it's real tight to the point where I like
Tweet.
it gets here.
Tweet.
And like if I want to push it down, I can, but it's not fun to get off. So I just put on my right. That and we're not traditionally married, so it doesn't really matter.
I mean, we are like in some sense legally married in a
Well,
very
yeah, but we
traditional
weren't
way, but-
tradition like
Yeah.
we didn't have a traditional ceremony.
Right.
You don't have a bride's
I don't
dress.
have a wedding ring and I don't particularly want one.
I don't know. You saw those diamonds.
I mean, I want diamonds, but I don't really wear rings. I mean,
Apparently,
I have some,
this is more of a wearing your wedding ring on your right hand is customary to another culture. I think it's I don't remember if it's German specifically or a different one. It's something European, but it's American culture is left hand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why that one's called the wedding finger or wedding ring finger.
Okay.
But yeah, apparently there's different cultures where it's on the right hand is like where it's supposed to be, which is whatever. I don't.
Right. Neither of us have
Counterculture.
Right. Like we're not really deeply culturally tied to a whole lot of stuff.
Nope.
So.
I mean, what do I got for culture? Egg salad? No thanks.
I mean, you are Italian.
Well, this is just a joke about white people.
Oh, okay.
I would say that whenever Trent was like, well, you have culture. I'm like, yeah, egg salad. And he would be so mad.
That's what he gets. That's what he gets for caring that much about Napoleon, who wasn't even that good of a general. I said it. Who marches into Russia in the winter?
Fucking idiots. Hitler, Napoleon, anyone else who lost.
Right.
I don't know who else.
Everyone who's lost a battle to Russia, pretty sure they all decided to march on Russia in winter. Stupid.
The shitty thing is half the year is winter for Russia, so
exactly.
you're kind of like...
It's like you either do it or you don't.
You got 6 months, and if you don't finish, get out, because
Right.
you're going to lose.
So all I'm saying is that Napoleon was a shit-ass general. He was a funny, hilarious queen, but a terrible general.
He was a queen?
I mean, that coat...
You guys can't see her face on the audio version, but she's making a face.
All I'm saying is that Napoleon would have won RuPaul's Drag Race. Is all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Has that been a thing? Did they do that? Or did somebody do that?
I don't know. Someone should pitch it.
I feel like it has to be
Having
a
like
thing.
Napoleonic, those big coats, like the red thing, the big things with like the fur on the lining. Like that's what he was doing, and he was always doing some dramatic ass bullshit.
Well, yeah, because actually I don't know.
And he had a complex about his height, and
that doesn't make sense for the time though. Because like we view him as short, but at the time he was just the average height.
Yeah, but
it's such a weird thing that became a popularized idea, but like Europeans at the time were he was as tall as everyone else.
Yeah, I just want to make fun of him.
Well, yeah, I get that. Hell, Europeans now are still shorter than Americans just because we used, like all of our meat and stuff is genetically modified and has more nutrients and stuff, so we grow bigger.
That makes sense.
Yeah. That's why the average height in America is higher than most other places. Even like in, is it developed nations? Yeah, because first world is the thing we decide not to say anymore. It's developed and developing.
Even developed.
Yeah, that's still like like there's a kind of thing going on.
You could just say in like wealthy nations.
Yeah.
Or in colonizing nations, because that's the real tea on that.
Let's see. Yeah. Most of the nations that are developed nations have also colonized part of the world at some point.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a reason why they're more developed than other places, and it's because they stole resources and sometimes people.
Look, we're looking at you, Britain.
Yeah.
All of England.
All of England, man. Such a tiny island.
They ruled almost all of the world.
Such a bunch of assholes. I mean, wow.
They were still in Africa up until the 80s?
Like, they were in Africa. That's wild.
That was when I learned how we've learned stuff about Gandhi that's not so great. Well, I don't even know if it was recently, but watching the movie with
Ben Kingsley.
Yeah, as Gandhi, and being like, this was like the 70s? That was mind-blowing to me.
Yep. Winston Churchill, straight up a douchebag.
Well, yeah.
Fully the worst.
It's like,
fully the worst. He was just like, I don't know, these people should just starve to death. And then he just had them starve to death. He just was like, well, fuck them. And then he just let them starve to death on purpose.
Yeah, I mean,
fuck that guy.
He's dead, so he don't care no more.
Right. I'm just saying, if I meet anyone who's like, I really like history, but really only I like Winston Churchill and Napoleon, I'm like, so you're a douchebag. Like, I've studied history, and there's a lot more interesting shit, first of all. And second of all, you only like douchebags, so.
Yeah, maybe.
I judge people.
It's like George and Linda Washington.
This man today was talking about George Washington.
It's like cuck.
He was like, George Washington is a cuck. Which makes no sense.
No, but it's outrageous and hilarious.
He was like, what was his wife's name?
Linda Linda Washington.
Linda?
And then you were like, Martha.
Her name was Martha.
And then Batman went, why'd you say that name?
Why'd you say that name? Batfleck. And I'm like, did you not read that Batman comic where he's in history class
in middle school?
And he just like all of a sudden he's like a regular middle school kid until someone says like Martha Washington. He just turns into Batfleck. He's like, why'd you say that name?
It's like, that's her name, dude. Calm down, Jesus.
Calm down.
I don't know what's funnier, if he's in middle school learning about U.S. history, or if Alfred has him being homeschooled, and he's like, okay, George and Martha Washington. He's like, why'd you say that name? I'm sorry, Master Wayne.
And a drunk Michael Caine stumbles out of the room.
It's like, this kid's making me drink. Oh, God.
Honestly, the person who should be on Drunk History is Michael Caine.
Jesus Christ.
He would do an incredible job narrating
Jesus Christ.
some Drunk History.
I don't know.
I would watch that endlessly. I would just put it on TV on repeat for forever.
You're ridiculous.
It would be fantastic.
Oh, this kind of went all over the place.
This did go all over the place.
Adele Dazeem.
Adele Dazeem.
I wish I had a
with
button.
With all the confidence of a coked up John Travolta.
It's like, the best part is he started to say it like that, and he added an accent. Because he's like, well, I mean, it's Adele Dazeem. It's Dazeem. It's got to be Dazeem. It's just
so good.
I wish I had a button that I would just press it, and all you hear is, and the wickedly talented.
Well, obviously, you're going to have to edit that in to the podcast.
Oh, I'm going to put it in where we first talk about it. Come on.
But then every time you say it, you should say it, and then immediately after, you should put the audio.
Just a quick cut of John Travolta. Adele Dazeem.
Yep. every time.
Oh man.
But yeah.
I wish I had. We need to get a thing to connect to the to the thingy. So like, see how
A
there's
thing to connect to the thingy.
look. You can see what I'm talking about. They can't.
Right.
But you can.
What? I don't even know what you're indicating though.
The headphone jack.
Oh, okay.
We need to get because if we use the splitter and we also get a thing that makes the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. I think that's a 4 or 5. I would be able to play effects and we could hear them. We would also be able to hear our voices, so that way we can manage our levels better.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That's something to think about.
Yeah, because right
Buy us
now,
stuff.
yeah, but
Thanks.
that's probably not that expensive. I had one before when I had a certain type of headphone. Were they Bose headphones?
No,
Maybe, I don't know. Because they were supposed to be for like music production, but I was like just using them to listen to music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but if we had that, I could play audio things and we could hear it and stuff
That
like
makes
that.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
I'm sleepy.
Yeah. Well, it's 3:00, so
I know. I
Buck
need to
up.
Start getting ready.
it's like buck up, kid.
I'm having a birthday party tonight.
Party.
Yeah, it's like 5 people I like are coming over and drinking wine with me. It's not really a party. It's like 5 people.
Oh, actually, wait.
Well, there's a few more because Angel and Alana are coming. But I know Alana's going to be here early and leave early.
Okay.
That's what she does.
I don't know who that is.
You've never met her. You like her though. She's
Yeah,
funny.
you said I did before.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. This one's kind of weird.
But that's all right. We are weird.
Yeah.
It's on brand for us.
Yeah.
Fully on brand.
Yeah, the name of this podcast is still the Polishing Podcast. That doesn't make any sense anymore.
Makes no sense, but here we are.
It was an inside joke between me and Trent, and that's it.
Yep.
Even by myself, it didn't make sense.
Right.
So.
But here we are.
Yeah. So if you enjoyed this one, rate it and review it on iTunes.
Yeah, leave us a comment. Tell us what you think.
Yeah.
Even if you say that I'm a horrible person for not liking Star Wars and or Lord of the Rings. I respect that.
I'm I'll be honest with you. I don't think anybody's going to tell you you're a bad person for not liking Star Wars right now.
Well, that's fair, but I've never liked it at any point ever, except for the most recent film, which I thought was actually fun to watch. So that will get me some hate.
Yeah, saying you like that movie.
I was like, oh, this is actually a good movie. All the rest of them have not been.
Yeah.
But this one's a good movie.
You liked Force Awakens. We watched it twice.
That was the most recent one.
No.
That was the most recent one. I don't know.
The Last Jedi.
Oh, well, yeah, I liked that one because I like John Boyega and Oscar Isaac. But, like, the movie sucks.
Which one?
The Force Awakens.
Oh, wait. What?
It's not good.
Okay, I don't care. It's like you said it like you would get a rise out of me.
No, I just mean it's not good. It's not. But I like John Boyega and Oscar Isaac, so.
Okay. Well, then I'm wrong. Anyway,
Wrong.
What?
That's how Trump says it.
Oh, so what? We don't want to. No.
Wrong.
He's banned from this. I'm not bringing that shithole in here. It's like, also, if you're surprised that that's not my opinion, then how the fuck?
You haven't been listening.
Yeah.
Also.
I mean, like, I've never really gotten political on the podcast up until you started being on it more.
You're welcome.
But also, I feel like you could tell by my demeanor of, hey, be nice to others, that I would have disagreements.
The fact that he respected my joking admonition that he not speak German near me. I mean, that's impressively kind and not particularly Trumpian. So
I hate it.
Thanks, I hate it.
Trumpian. Ugh. Anyway, stop it.
Get some help.
No, just stop. You stop.
Okay, I'm done.
No
I'm
more
done.
about the Orange Man.
The Orange Man.
But yeah, if you like the podcast, rate it, review it on iTunes, 5 stars. That's what we like. Listen to it on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you like to listen to the podcast. Patreon.com/thepolishingpodcast. $5 tier will get you a video podcast. Spirit Fingers. We didn't really do a lot with the camera today. I
looked at it.
I looked at it too, but I feel like there's not a lot I could do with it. I think I'll figure stuff out to edit and make it fun.
Yeah, you'll make it fun.
I'll make it fun. I'll make it so fun.
Oh my god. Is that like that video of the woman who played Kimmy Schmidt who's like, I'll make it so dry for you?
Oh my god.
I love that video.
Blowjob girl?
Yes. wants a blowjob, girl. She's like, I'll give you a blowjob. I'll make it so dry.
What?
for you."
No.
The guy's like, please don't do that.
She's like, I'm gonna make it like sandpaper.
And then she takes a tissue and like wipes her tongue off.
Well, no, she's like, she starts doing that, and he's like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm making it so dry for
I
you.
love it.
And then she's like, okay, I'll just give you a hand job. She's like,
The chaotic energy that radiates off of that video is so good.
and then she's like, okay, we can just have sex. And then it cuts to black. I'll make it so dry. Then it ends. I think it's a College Humor video.
I think so.
Oh, it's good. Anyway.
We're really bad at wrapping up.
You are. I can wrap up pretty easy. You always.
Fine. I'm wrapping up.
You're already
Thank
wrapped
you.
up. You're in a onesie.
And good night.
You're ridiculous. Yeah, listen to an iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, all that stuff. $5 tier on patreon.com/The Polishing Podcast video podcast. You also get a little shout out. We got to do shout outs real quick.
Shout outs.
Thank you, Beb, because you're the only $15 tier. I got rid of the $50 tier because it was basically the same thing as the $100 tier, because the $100 tier is no one's going to do this. Like, I literally called it the meme tier because it's for the memes, and the $50 tier was basically the same fucking thing, so I just got rid of it. I want to make a $10 tier, but I don't know what to do for it, so I'll probably update that when it makes sense to. There we go.
There you go.
I just would not ever think that that's it. I'm going to leave that in because it's that confusing.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, time to shout out some patrons.
Yeah.
Because as part of the $5 tier, you also get a little shout out where we say thank you and say your name.
Little shouty shout.
So I would like to thank Nathaniel Nemika. Namika?
I think so.
Nemika or Namika. Patrick Piet, otherwise known as Cert on Twitch, because that one I know because you did that while I was streaming. Quinn and T-Rex with a Shotgun. Thank you so much for pledging $5 at the $5 tier. Hope you guys enjoyed the video podcast if you're watching it.
You guys are the best.
Yeah. And then thank you to you because you're the only $15 tier person.
It's because I support my husband.
Thank you for supporting me.
I love you.
I love you too.
We're gross. No one look at us.
Don't look at me. But yeah, thanks you guys so much. And thank you to all the other regular listeners out there on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you listen. Google Play. I forgot to mention that one the first 3 times I went through that.
No.
But yeah, thank you so much for watching, listening. And we'll see you guys next time on the next podcast.
Bye.
Bye.